Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdell. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. This is a sad, sad day for people who have traveled around the world, and especially those in France. Sadly, yesterday, the Notre Dame, the huge cathedral in the center of France on Ile-Cité, was pretty much lost due to fire. Very sadly, a huge portion of the Notre Dame Cathedral, one of the most iconic buildings on the entire planet of Earth, was destroyed yesterday by fire. It looks like from the reports that the stone structure was saved, but virtually the entire set of woodwork into the roof and the spire and the entire top of the cathedral and the left side tower was partially damaged by this fire, but the entire roof was destroyed and the spire was destroyed. So I'm just still kind of wrapping my head around this because sadly, huge work was going on to repair and upgrade and restore the cathedral at the time. I was there when it was 2017 in October, and I enjoyed the time with my girlfriend, and we went and toured the cathedral, and I had her go check out the crown of thorns. That's what's claimed to be the crown of thorns that Christ wore when he was crucified in Jerusalem 2,000 or so years ago. 2019 years ago. No, maybe just under 2,000 years ago because he was 33. But okay, don't worry about the dates. But the Notre Dame housed some of the most famous and iconic artworks, stained glass pieces, relics of ancient Christianity and art in general in that massive and beautiful Gothic building. Originally originally the construction on the Notre Dame Cathedral began somewhere in the 12th and 13th centuries, and it took nearly 200 years to complete that spectacular structure. On the what we would call the back of the cathedral, where the main altar is, on the outside are these beautiful flying buttresses. I consider it one of the most awesome examples of flying buttress cathedral design from the Gothic era in the entire world. I've traveled quite a bit around the world, and still the Notre Dame is my favorite cathedral. The very first thing when I have the opportunity that I get into France, or get into Paris, is I go right into the core of the city to Ile-Cité, get off in the Latin Quarter, go to my hotel, my favorite hotel down there, and I immediately go over and just touch or get as close as I can to the Notre Dame Cathedral because it's just so spectacularly beautiful. But sadly, those of you who haven't had the opportunity to go there and see the stained glass and the structures and the bench work, it's just incredible. And sadly, it's some terrible accident. I don't know exactly what has happened. The investigation will probably go on for a very long time, but because of the intensity and destructiveness of the fire, no one may ever know. But whatever the case, the causative agent that created this fire and started things burning down, I suppose it arguably doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, hopefully it wasn't arson. It was just some horrific mistake that happened on that cathedral. Apparently, it happened right when Notre Dame was closing. People are in there, and all of a sudden, somebody started getting like, hey, we need to get everybody out. As soon as people started getting shooed away and getting out, they looked up and they saw smoke coming from the roof of the cathedral. Now, interestingly, I didn't actually know this. The entire top of the cathedral was wood. I actually had no clue. Apparently, the clergy and the people who maintained the building called the huge roof the forest because it was just this massive lattice work of wood, and wood that's pushing anywhere from hundreds of years old up to 800 years old. So to say that wood is dry, brittle, and old is significantly an understatement. Now I'm gonna scoop back just a little bit here because I'm gonna going to put pictures that I've taken over the years of Notre Dame Cathedral. I mean, it's just, when you walk up to that thing and you see the pictures of it, the pictures, as you're seeing behind, just do not do that building justice. I mean, just, as you walk up, you think, wow, that thing's really big. And then you keep walking and walking like, man, I'm not getting closer to that thing. How big is that cathedral? It is stupendously huge. Now, I had to pause a moment and say it was because the stone structure of Notre Dame fortunately was saved by the super valiant firefighters who worked to, I guess they call them the fire brigade in France, worked to save what was left of the cathedral. The mayor of Paris apparently said that the ancient relics were saved by a huge bunch of firemen who literally created a chain of people and began handling these relics in this massive rush to get them out of that building because, and I don't say building, I mean it's gargantuan, to try and save those relics, a piece of the original cross, a nail from the crucifixion, the crown of thorns from Christ. And now, of course, all these things are purported to be, they arguably can't be proven, but how are you going to prove it not? Just like so many things. But a lot of the lead that was used for the stained glass windows melted and was destroyed. So some of those most incredible, beautiful stained glass windows that were created for that cathedral that have lasted hundreds of years, the better part of a millennia, are gone. They're utterly destroyed. I mean, it's just incredibly sad. So initially I thought it was actually a well-defended, undefiled building, but apparently in the French Huguenot era, the cathedral was defiled and partially damaged. The Germans, now this is interesting, I haven't figured this out yet, was what did the Germans do, if anything, during World War II? Because the Germans did control France, and just reading the news articles, that's something I've never actually found out, as if the Germans did anything. And then, who else? During the French Revolution in the early 1800s, apparently the cathedral was defiled and damaged again, because the French just went mad about, that was the kind of their Bastille Day. They destroyed the Bastille. So again, Notre Dame was damaged heavily. But I don't think, at least the news reports and the history I've read, nothing compares to the damage that sadly Notre Dame suffered yesterday, April 15th, 2019. So ironically, of course, it's tax day was tax day in the United States, and just one of those things. But one of the great sadnesses is that Notre Dame burned down during Holy Week, the holiest week of the entire Christian religion. The day before was Palm Sunday. Thank the Lord that the fire didn't happen then. There would probably not be workers working on the cathedral at the time, so fortunately it didn't happen during a mass that I know of. Not that it's fortunate to have this level of destruction happen. So the damage was, I mean, you look at the pictures, you can look online. I don't have any pictures of my own. I'm not going to take anybody else's, but I mean, it's just mind-blowing. I'll put some links below to this, but I saw people literally kneeling on their knees and working through a rosary to pray for the firefighters and pray that the entire building wasn't lost, because really that building is the center and the heart of France. When you look at the beautiful artworks and even the kitsch pieces that you go home with your t-shirt or whatever, other than the Eiffel Tower, the Notre Dame is the centerpiece of Parisian and thusly French life. I mean, all French know the Notre Dame, and all tourists who have ever been through France in Paris have seen the Notre Dame. If you've ever been there, it's such a monumental building that you just can't miss it. It's like, holy schmoly, it's right there. People go for the Eiffel Tower, people go for the Louvre, but the Notre Dame is really where it's at. A couple years ago, well, actually quite a few years ago, I had the opportunity to climb the staircase to the top of the bell tower and look around. Sadly, when I was there last time in 2017, you had to buy tickets well in advance, and I just didn't realize how impacted the cathedral was at the time. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to arrange tickets to get up there, but hopefully, I know the mayor of France said that she's going to work with Macron, the president or prime minister of France, and work and begin raising funds to repair the cathedral and bring it back to its glory. Now, this definitely isn't the way you want to do it. I mean, it's just tragic. But the French people are strong people. I know they've had huge trouble in the last few years with terrorist attacks in 2015, the yellow shirt demonstrations. I mean, France has really been in low-grade turmoil for quite a while. But see, as an American, French people and France are super important to me. I've actually had the opportunity to work in France. I've traveled professionally in France, done tour videos there. So I've loved it there, but you have to remember that people always make fun of the French. Like, oh, we had to save you in World War I, and geez, we had to save you in World War II. Americans, just remember that the French people made America possible. Why do I say that? Because during the Revolutionary War, if France hadn't intervened, and we purchased support from them, of course, but if France hadn't come to the Americans, or it wasn't even America yet, America's aid during the Revolution, we wouldn't have a country. I don't even know what we would have, but the French government and French generals worked with General Washington to literally help America become America. So anytime when you see these things, and well, okay, in America we make a little fun of France. I know. I've got French friends. I've climbed with them. I've worked with them. And they always joke about themselves. They actually have a pretty good sense of humor. But just remember, Americans, that no matter how great we think we are in everything, 230, 40, 50 years ago, France literally made America possible. So please send up a prayer to the people in France, those firefighters and those who risked their lives, and the people of Paris and France who lost one of the most iconic structures. I mean, other than not being terrorists, I mean, this is practically their 9/11, where one of their most iconic structures was literally destroyed. So please send out a prayer for France. My prayers go out to you, people of France. Be strong. Know that you can recover from it. You've been through terrible things before, and you can recover from this one too. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer, motivational speaker. Please be inspired by this. Maybe go to France, spend a little bit of money, and help them recover. Who knows? I think it's still the most visited country on earth. Please subscribe to my channel. Click that little subscribe button. Like and comment on my video. I'd love to hear your story about France, and maybe you went to the Notre Dame and what it meant to you. Also, check out my links to different books below, and support my channel on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you very much for watching.